r/AskReddit by Surreptitious. What was the weirdest date you've ever been on? When I was 15, a girl asked me to the movies. It was I Love You, Man. Her parents decided to attend too. Then one of the characters cursed like 10 minutes into the movie and the parents told us we were leaving. They took me right home and that was that. Was going to go to a bar with a girl I met on Tinder. She showed up 15 minutes late, which wasn't that big of a deal. Got out of her car, crossed the street, and then awkwardly shook my hand. Told me she forgot her ID at home, apologized, and then left. Ouch. Damn man, that hurt me. Bruh, we all think we're not that ugly but then something like this happens. I was talking to dude on Tinder and decided to meet up with him for coffee one day. He only talked in impersonations of WWE wrestlers and then asked me to go to WrestleMania with him and his entire family later that night. Another one. I went on a date with this girl from Tinder. She super liked me and messaged first, so I was really happy to have someone interested. I asked if she'd like to go for a walk sometime and she said she'd love to. So we get to walking and like 5 minutes in, she asks if I have roommates. I said yes. I live with 5 people and tell her about a few of them. There's Max, Matt, Mark, Mark Smith. I know him. What's he been up to? So we start chatting about my roommate and she knows a lot about him, his family, the sports he plays, his girlfriend. Every time I try to move the conversation somewhere else, she brings it back to Mark. She's not even pretending to be into me anymore. She's just fangirling out over my roommate. I just love him. His hair is always so shiny and he smells so nice. She spends the full 2 hours talking about him and asking all sorts of questions. I didn't really know what to do, so I just boredly keep answering. When we get back to our cars, she shifts gears again. Hey, so I had a really great time. Want to go back to your place to have some fun? She's really creeping me out at this point, so I tell her I have homework to do and maybe later. I get back and tell Mark about the date and he knows exactly who she is. He picks up his phone and immediately calls the police. They show up at the house, find the girl outside in the backyard and arrest her for violating a restraining order or something. It turned out she was super unstable and had stalked my roommate since they went on one date almost a year prior. She recognized from photos she had of him and used me to find out where he lived. I went on a date with a girl to a bar and grill. The girl just got set free from a bad relationship. The bartender was her uncle, the server was her sister, and her fresh ex-boyfriend was there on a date with another guy. I do not miss that about small towns. Back in high school, me and the boys were getting food in the next town over, and one of my buddies thought it would be funny to order a fur burger with a side of thighs. I get to the window and the older lady didn't think that was funny at all, but that made us laugh even harder. Then very next night I go to pick up my date for the homecoming dance and of course it's the fast food lady who answers the door. Did you and the fast food lady at least have fun at homecoming? Third date with a guy from Hinge. Started off completely normal, went to a pub for a few drinks. Pub closes. Guy invites me back to his. We get back to his and have a few more drinks. He then asks if I'd like to smoke a joint. Hadn't smoked for a few years but thought hey it'll be fine. End up feeling very sick and unable to move. Guy doesn't have a bucket or bowl so brings over the entire kitchen bin and places it next to me. He then suggests we watch a movie. Guy puts on American Psycho and I sit there for the next 2 hours paralyzed and paranoid, completely convinced he's going to murder me. Also he lived on a boat, or the boat would have freaked me out more. The girl took me to a cemetery at night, walked me to a grave, explained that it was her cousin and that night was the anniversary of his death, then told me a long story about the time he raped her. I take it there was no second date. I wish that was true. I saw her a few times after that. On our last date we were drinking at a bar and some dude I'd never met before got in my face, told me he was going to kill me for being there with her, and then smashed a chair to pieces. A bunch of people held him back as we escaped and that was the only time I've ever driven drunk. Later she married one of my best friends. Dated a man who corrected my Polish, because his grandmother was Polish and she told him how to pronounce some words. Mind you, I was brought up in Poland, went to school and college there, read a zillion books, saw a zillion Polish movies etc. But this guy was very condescending about my pronunciation of the few words he learnt from his grandma. Koarail Hudge. I matched with a Chinese exchange student on Tinder. She asked me to meet her at her apartment, then we'd go link up with some of her friends at the waterfront. We're texting as I'm on the way over, and she didn't realize this was a date. Nonetheless, she asks me to pick up dinner for both of us on the way over. I get to her apartment, and before I can even take my jacket off, she says, "So, do you have anything to say to me?" Presumably because I'd spent 15 seconds in silence. I offer her the food she asked for. She said she wasn't hungry. I try to strike up a conversation, but she dead ends every topic I bring up. She starts texting and making phone calls. She was speaking Mandarin, presumably, but I was able to make it the name of the place we were supposed to meet her friends. She said something about how plans might change because her friend needs help. Throughout all this, I just sat by myself, eating my sandwich in silence. When I was finished, I asked if she just wanted me to leave. She said yes, then gave me $20 for dinner. You weren't her date, you were her Uber Eats driver. Plot twist, OP was actually just a very confused Uber Eats driver. I was interested in this girl, and she kind of tricked me into a double date where she was dating another guy and had fixed me up with her sister. Being a good sport, I went along with it and it was awkward but okayish. But then she set me up with her sister again, and this time it was just the two of us. We went to the park. She had filled the trunk of her car with troll dolls, I mean dozens and dozens of them, and spent the entire date introducing me to her trolls one by one. I should mention we were in our 20s. She was getting frustrated and angry because I didn't seem all that interested in her dolls. So sitting there, hands full of troll dolls, she exasperatedly asks me, "So are we going to have sex? Do you even know how to have sex?" "Not with you, I don't," I said, and got up and walked home. There's only so much one can endure while being polite. "I showed you my troll collection." PLS respond. You gotta pay the troll toll if you wanna get into that girl's hole. So I was 18, in the Air Force, and living in the dorms. My roommate set me up with his girlfriend's cousin, and the four of us went to a movie. She brought a stuffed animal, not a tiny little thing some young women clipped to their keychain. It was a gigantic blue rabbit, at least as big as a toddler. She said she brought it because she sometimes gets scared in movies. We were seeing a comedy. After the movie, we grabbed some ice cream and drove the cousins home. My date invited me to kiss her at the door, but told me I should also kiss Pebbles so he wouldn't be jealous. Edit. Of course I kiss Pebbles. My date was actually out of my league hot, but crazy. Your friend set you up with a girl, and the girl set you up with Pebbles. Of course I kiss Pebbles. My date was actually out of my league hot, but crazy. Everyone always kisses Pebbles. The one where I asked a girl out and she said yes and then brought her friend. And halfway through the date it dawned on me that she was trying to get me to like her friend. I had that one happen to me in college. Asked girl A to come watch a horror movie in my dorm. She ends up bringing girl B along with her. I'm like, whatever, still chilling with girls watching movies. Then it's kinda obvious girl A doesn't want to do anything and wants me to talk with girl B, but her friend, girl B, was pretty cool and attractive, so I was okay with it. So then girl A says, "Hey, you should go to this date night party with girl B." I'm like, okay, whatever, I'm down. End of night with girl B, we start making out and I try making moves and she's like, "Oh no, this is so wrong, girl A likes you." And I'm like, WTF. Turns out they both liked me. And no threesome ending to this story or anything. Never got to do anything with either one. Damn, that seems frustratingly dumb. My first dating update starts off pretty good. We barely put in our dinner order and her phone starts blowing up. Her ex was drunk and causing a scene outside her app. Her ex kept calling. Then her roommate started and then the landlord calls threatening to call the police. We get our food to go and I take her back to her app. Long story short, both her and her ex are crying messes. She goes inside, leaves me outside with crying drunk ex who starts telling me all about how he messed their relationship. Dude is way too drunk to drive. I end up driving him to his apt Uber back to my car. Realize my date took all the food with her. The joys of dating. You're a good guy for driving him home. I went on a 4-hour date with a woman who rides horses for a living. The entire 4 hours she told me everything I could possibly want to know about horses and then some. I learned so much about horses that I done forgot most the shit she told me. Edit. Holy fuck. The puns of me dying lol, that sounds like a stable relationship. He was a shoo-in. As long as they're happy, that's the main thing. All of you had better stop horsing around. Dated a woman who didn't tell me she needed meds because she was psychotic. In the middle of dinner, at a restaurant, she got quiet and distracted. I asked if she was feeling okay. Apparently one of the voices told her I was a horrible person and she pulled a steak knife on me. A customer was able to talk to her and got her to put the knife down. The police were called and she was arrested. I didn't press charges, and about a week later, she sent me a letter with proof that she's been in counseling for a long time, takes medication, and included a heartfelt apology. Thank you for understanding that she needed help and for not pressing charges. That sounds like a very scary situation. I'm glad everybody is okay. I hope you have a good support system to help you get through it as well. To be fair, if I were psychotic, I don't think I would tell people about it right away either. Went on a first date where someone asked me why I cut my hair so short. I guess I could have lied or blown off the question, but I don't like to start anything with falsehood. So I told him that I had chemo for breast cancer, that I'll probably be completely fine now, and we absolutely didn't have to talk about it. He asked me a few questions about the surgery, single mastectomy, and he said I wanna know which one it is, but I can't look at your boobs now. I told him if he could guess which boob got the axe, I'd buy the drinks and appetizer. He won, and I never saw him again. I'm positive I am the weirdest date that guy has ever been on. Edited to add a shameless plug. If you wanna know which boob is murderous, you'll have to listen to the relevant podcast episode or find a picture of me and guess. And I'll buy your drink if you're right. His loss. You sound like a fun as hell date. This girl from Tinder invited me over to cuddle, so I assumed that we were totally going to bang. I get there, she cooked a lovely dinner, and we just kind of held each other and talked about our traumas for a while. I told her about stuff I don't even really talk about with my closest friends. Then we moved to her bed and she fell asleep like fast, and we just sorta cuddled all night. We never even kissed, except those back of the neck ones that happen when you're spooning. I woke up, we cuddled a little more, and then I went to work. It was an awesome, super intimate experience. Pretty weird though. Did you see her again? I'm actually meeting up with her tonight. I'll edit this post to let you all know how it goes. Edit. We are in a bar. Things are going good. Totally showed her this post, which was bold but she seemed to like it. Follow up tomorrow. You better cuddle with love once again, puff puff puff. Thanks for watching. PLZ, like and subscribe. Have a wonderful day.